My healing journey of sex addiction. Being a medical doctor, it was very hard to admit that I, I was a sex addict at that time to get for the therapy. And also, I come from a country where sex is only for marriage. Sex is almost for only for making babies. Even there is no space for talking about sexual pleasure. And the religion, Christianity, which I followed, that sex outside marriage was sin. So all this made me to, live in a very paranoid state, that living inside with that, fear. And even though, because of the cultural pressure, I was afraid to do it because of culture and because of the religion. But I knew that there was like a, kind of a, uh, it's not just a desire, it's more of like, very, desperate state. And through online dating, and when I left my ex-husband and got that freedom, like, I started to like uh, use that, like, anger of that failing the marriage. The failure of marriage was very, it was very painful for me, and I felt like I have lost everything in life. There is no more life to live. So I just went into wild, into also to do anything I want. Because I didn't want to stop anything, because before, the religion and the society was stopping me to do things. So but I was just living to please the society and the religion, but not me. But when I got that, and came out, and able to live the free life which I wanted to live, then there was no boundaries at all. Because of childhood sexual abuse, that I didn't have any boundaries. And also, um, later I understood many, childhood sexual abuse survivors or sexual abuse survivors have this sex addiction as a problem. So that also happens. But it was kind of a, without admitting, living. And I was so grateful that I lived in a shelter, women's shelter in Toronto, and I was able to meet other women. And they were able to openly talk about their sexual addiction. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it was so scary and surprising for me, because I will never open up and say that, So then, luckily, I was able to admit, and I said, out loud. Then, this girl who was doing her therapy, it was a codependent CODA group, and it is exactly like Alcohol Anonymous group. So for me to go and be, because of COVID, I was so happy that it happened in Zoom, through Zoom. So even though in Zoom, to show up my face, to mention my name, all this was very scary, because actually I was kind of, very shamed of admitting that, I'm a sex and love addict. So, but the woman whom I met, they are very honest, open, sharing their life journey, and it really helped me. I was able to identify myself with them. I didn't see anything better than them, but still I have this big degree of medical doctor. So that really kind of made me like more vulnerable to be who I am. Because one side I am this, the society looks at me like I'm a achieved person. On the other side, I am struggling on my own and I need help. So to hold both and live together was a big struggle for me. but still I was able to get help. And also I was able to get help from a hospital in Toronto. They had a group session for addicts. So actually, it was called Divine Divas, and the facilitators treated us like we were the goddess of this world. So it was really something I'm so grateful. Being a doctor in a hospital, I went as you know a victim or patient to get help for my mental health. And so even though I was not addicted to alcohol or any other drugs or anything like that, because again, it is because of the culture and the religion. And also, I was not attracted to, anything like that. So I was able to, control that part very well. So I drank those days, but it was a social drink. So and I think my father has set a good example for me, because he was a social drinker and he drank whenever his friend came over, and he only drank a certain amount. So that really helped me in my adult life to follow my father and do exactly what he was doing. So I never went above that. I always kept my father as an example. So alcohol and all these things I was really saved from, because I had a good role model, my father, for that. But for sexuality, I didn't have any good role models in my life, and I myself was affected at the age of 8. So I went into this journey, but actually it really took a long time to admit. Even I went for therapy for coda. I was at the codependent group. I was a former sex and love addict, to say that, because in relationships, I think, for me, it I failed many times because of this addiction, because I needed more. I was not satisfied with the lover, because my love was so, I need, and that was manipulative, controlling, abusive, everything, because of this addiction I had. And it was not a safe, healthy relationship for me, with the partner, because I was, I couldn't have a healthy, relationship with myself. My love was not enough for myself. But then through the healing, I became my lover. I was able to care for myself and love myself and heal myself completely. And now I'm not, ashamed of talking about sex and love and, sexual pleasure and all these things. I'm so grateful. It doesn't, bother me anytime. But it was a journey to come to this level, because it was really something. I was hiding myself under it, because it really made me to feel like I was small. But now I'm very thick. I'm very enough for myself. No matter what uh, happens or happened, it doesn't define me. I am who I am. So it helped me a lot to be who I am and be a former sex lover and sex addict also. Thank you.